As an MMOer, I'll go on a limb and call myself a professional MMOer.
Out of all of us,
a professional is considered, in my opinion, anyone who's done something for 10,000 hours or more. And I've played WoW for 10,000 hours.
You're a journeyman. Journeyman MMO player.
But, what was I going to say?
10,000 hours.
Yeah.
You have a life.
It's not important.
A life is not important? Anyway.
I have a fantastic life, 2 kids. I'm
yes,
married.
he's doing much better than I am. Don't you worry about it. All right, so moving right along. Yeah, just a quick question. What is the average cost of an in-game purchase for your games? Dean, we'll start with you.
$5.
$5?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a basic amount.
I think it was like $15 for set gold coins. But the thing I didn't like about that was like, oh, I want to spend the least amount of money possible and, you know, just get like a little upgrade on my tank. But they'll have like, let's say, oh, this tank is 1,500 coins, gold coins. It's like, oh, for $15 you can buy 1,300 gold coins. Yeah. I'm like, you bitch, because that means that I have to. That means that I have to spend $30 for double the amount of coins. It's kind of like a trap.
That's that whole Microsoft point thing going on. Like they never sell the downloadable games for an exact Microsoft point price.
They want to make sure you always have some points in your account.
Yeah, it's like come get the next one, get the next one, get the next one. So it's.
But luckily, sorry, not to interrupt. Luckily, I went to GameStop. Haters gotta hate, whatever. But I went there and I said to the guy, "Look, what is the closest thing I could get to just $15 of Microsoft points?" He said, "I could sell you $15 worth of Microsoft points." So they can now cater to that. So it's like, if you want exactly the amount of points for a game, EB Games will do it for you. Maybe it's just the guy who was hooking me up. I don't know, but it worked. So you can buy those cards, which are just like standard set points, or on their site it's standard set points. But if you talk to the guys, they just give you a code that gives you.
All this requires you to actually
get up and go interact with people.
Leave the house and go to a store to buy your video games. Ew.
It's a crazy talk.
How touchy-feely of you. Gross.
Yeah. So, Cory, for Star Trek Online, what is the average price for purchases?
Anywhere between $1 or so, upwards of 20. Depends on what you're looking at. They sell all kinds of little, stat boosters and experience point boosters and things like that.
What's a subscription? $10?
Subscription would be $14.99 for a month. So, yeah.
And subscription unlocks everything?
Unlocks everything. Well, there's nothing really to unlock. All it does is it gives you access to the Foundry. It gives you unlimited, it gives you the maximum amount of unlockables in terms of unlocking character slots. Like a free-to-play player has 2 character slots. You can make 2 characters. Oh. A subscription-based player has the maximum of, I think it's 8 available to him.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. And I do believe for Star Wars, the lowest price I saw was $5, and I could be wrong. Maybe they updated it, but all I saw was like $5, and it went north of Jesus. It was. Yeah, it was way up there, something ridiculous, where it was more than the cost of the game itself, and that got you a lightsaber. It was just unbelievably priced. So, yeah, I don't blame anyone for not paying a single cent for this game. I say pay them for the privilege of making the game and having the access to it. That's all well and good. That gets you the preferred thing. But after that, don't pay. Come on, it's a video game. But that's just me. Next question. Would you consider your game to be Would you consider your game to be an honest, free-to-play game or a pay-to-win game? Cory.
It's a free-to-play game. Like I said, there's nothing that any player there's nothing that I can buy in the game that gives me an unfair advantage to other players. The only thing that I can really spend money on that would give me a leg up would be on those Dominion keys. and that's still just a random chance at getting a rare drop, of getting an item that no one else can have. You could buy one key for $1, and I could buy 500 keys for 500 times that amount. And you could buy one key, unlock one box, and get the best ship. And I could unlock 50 boxes and not get anything worth it. So it's a lottery.
Fair enough.
You can. It's a mix of both, because buying a bigger, badder tank doesn't necessarily mean that your strategy is sound, right?
True. So
it's a mix, because I've been on the battlefield against. Yeah, I had this like proud moment where I'm a noob on the game. There's this guy who's driving a heavy tank. You can defeat a heavy tank with a light tank. It is possible, but it takes a lot of you just need to be you need to be a better player to actually be good at the game. You have to be smart. You can still play a role as a small guy on the field if you don't want to pay a single cent into the game, but definitely paying some money can give you the edge. It can buy you crew members that are faster at reloading guns. It can you can send your crew members to academies and stuff like that. Give them better health so they don't die when you get smoked with a shell.
Yeah.
You can also buy tactical advantage kind of things like camouflage for your tanks. Spend some gold coins, you get camouflage for a week or whatever by spending, 350 coins or something like that. So you can buy something that gives you an edge, but I wouldn't say that it will actually guarantee that you won't be killed on the field. You just have to be a smart player for the game.
True enough. Okay. Dean?
I would say less. Well, it is free to play, but the reality is it's a pay to level faster game, which almost seems to fit for a lot of free to play games. You pay a little bit extra money, make a couple extra kills around, a little bit easier, you die a little bit less, and suddenly you start leveling a little bit faster than you were before if you hadn't bought that extra gun or those grenades or what have you. So, yeah, I would, if you want to call that pay to win, sure. I would say pay to go faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Star Wars, not so much. I honestly, like, with all my complaints and everything, it is a true free-to-play game. And the more, like everybody's saying, like, the more time you invest into it, the more it does pay you back a little bit so you can advance a little quicker. Not once did I feel underpowered by any means. There was one comparison I was going to make where, just to give you guys an idea of what I mean by, if you're not aware, free-to-play is what we've been talking about. Pay-to-win is where the game almost cripples you in order to make you buy something. A good example of this, or, well, I don't know if it's a good example of it, but an example, Diablo 3. Where they opened up their whole actual, like, World of Warcraft, it is kind of against their system to pay actual money for in-game items. Whereas Diablo 3, they offered this whole marketplace where you can do that. So if somebody finds, like, if you're a level 2 and somebody sells you a level 50 sword for whatever they charge, well, bang. The game is broken because now there's no competitive nature to the whole thing, and that's paying to win. So some
also
games,
known as twinking your character.
Twinking your characters. Thank you. I did not know that. So yeah, that can essentially break a game. So some of these people that are out there making free-to-play games, that's the structure they're going after. Is like, oh yeah, here's the free game. You'll move at a snail's pace and you'll be fighting them with a stick. But if you give us some of your money and your bank card and your blood type and all that kind of stuff, hey, look at that, you're a giant among men. And that kind of sucks. It's kind of putting a bad rep with the free-to-play model, which, from some of these examples, does work and can work. So that's what pay-to-win means. One of the final questions here: what sold you on the game that you chose to play for this? Dino, what made you pick Ghost Recon?
Total Biscuit. Total Biscuit he did a review, he does these WTF is segments.
Of course the win.
And it was a WTF is Ghost Recon Online, and I watched it, and I thought, wow, that looks interesting. It's very different looking, it's cool, and it's free to play. For sure, I'll try it.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about free to play models is no matter how absurd or crappy or whatever it is, if I want to try it, at least I can.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Sorry, question again.
What sold you on?
Oh,
this
okay,
particular
yeah. Well, actually, it's funny enough. I saw a commercial on TV for it.
Really?
I don't watch TV, but I was over at my fiance's place. They were they're watching TV, and then TV commercial came up. Oh, World of Tanks! You can do this and this, and okay, it sounds cool enough. And then the whole free-to-play thing here came up, and that was my first pick. And I'm kind of I like the World War II genre kind of gameplay. Battlefield 1942, loved that game.
Yeah.
Good game.
Yeah, it was a super good game. I've always been kind of a Battlefield fan, and anything to do with shooting, getting into a tank driving is just fun.
Just as a side note, do you remember what show you were watching when the commercial came up?
No.
Damn. My dad and I were having this conversation where he wasn't really up to par on how big this video game business was and how they get the word out and all this kind of stuff. And he was kind of baffled because he never sees a commercial for a video game. And it's funny that you brought that up, that you saw it on TV, because usually nowadays most video game advertisements are within the online community, on YouTube, gaming websites, and all that.
You only really see a lot of television spots for video games around Christmas time.
Yeah, not only that, but at big sporting events, you'll see the Call of Duty stuff. And I said to my dad, the reason why you probably don't notice it is because the commercials are geared towards TV viewers. So you're not going to be seeing a lot of gameplay footage. You're not going to be they're as obscure as some of the other ones where it's ooh, she bit a hot dog and he's running through the grass. Buy shampoo. How do you make that connection? And it'll be like that for a lot of video game stuff.
I like it.
Oh, that reminds me, I got to pick up some head and wiener grass later.
Your hair will smell like grassy wieners.
That was my nick. No.
But there was something picking my brain with that whole thing. I can't really remember what the fuck I wanted
Sorry
to say.
to derail you there.
I just started thinking of grassy wieners.
That's really off.
And then
I'm
watching
salivating as you say that. We run such a respectable show. I swear.
It's a gentleman's channel.
It's a gentleman's channel. And ladies. And ladies. I do have some lady viewers out there who are
Taco
awesome.
in the grass.
Yeah, dude. And there goes my lady viewers.
Buy shampoo.
To Josh at Deep Seeded Geek.
Josh is not affiliated with Deep Seeded Geek. Anyway.
I'm just trying to keep people included.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, he is. Cory.
What was the question?
Yes, of course. What made you choose this? Well, it's kind of obvious.
I'm a Star Trek geek.
Yes.
And honestly, for this assignment, I had heard such good things. I had heard that Star Trek Online was so much more profitable as a free-to-play model rather than a subscription-based model. I've been hearing great things about the game. They just they just announced their next expansion. It is also completely free to play.
First expansion.
No, actually, I was wrong about that. It's not first expansion.
Oh, really?
But it's their latest expansion. It's free to play. It's called Shadow of Romulus, and right now as the game stands.
I don't know Star Trek, but I know the Romulans.
Right now as it stands, you can play as a Starfleet character. Once you reach a certain point in the game, then you can open up a Klingon character and play as a Klingon. Once the expansion drops, they've changed all that, and now as you start the game, you can play as either a Starfleet, Klingon, or Romulan.
Wow.
Yep.
Pretty intense.
It's pretty intense, boy.
And for me, obviously Star Wars was a big factor in picking this game, but I gotta be honest, Brent Adams on Epic Battle Axe, he, like myself, he heard about this game and he went out and created a custom PC just to play this game. And
so did I.
Yeah. So, what?
I just realized that, I guess that's Star Wars because I went and bought a new PC.
I upgraded my video card for it when it first came out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. There you
High
go.
hopes, man.
Yeah.
High hopes.
And so, just hearing him talk about it month after month after month, and just how he raved about it, it got me so excited to play this game. It took me a little longer to actually make the adjustment and switch over, but yeah, it was due to him just raving about it so much. And it sounded like an easy way for me to get into the MMO genre. So,
sorry, Josh and I are fooling around over here. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna watch the video playback on this, and the heads are gonna roll. I swear. So yeah, Star Wars itself and Brent Adams at epicbattleaxe.com. Listen to their podcast. Awesome stuff. And the last question on the list: do you think free-to-play model is a viable business model? Josh, I'm gonna start with you.
I would say yes. If they can afford to put a commercial on TV, they're obviously making money. And they obviously have enough interest by the public, and people love the game because they keep playing it, and some people are willing to pay $50 to play it. So
True enough.
I would say it's viable. And I like it because you rally the support of your people by if they like the gameplay, they put in the money, and then you can build on that with those funds. I really like that.
It's almost got a little bit of a Kickstarter feel to it. You know, it's like they put out a demo, so to speak, but it's beta right now. Correct? World of Tanks?
No, that's Mech Warriors Online.
Right. Okay, so World of Tanks is the full meal deal, and so it's out there. It's free to play, and if people feel like supporting a developer, then they pay a little bit. Yeah, that's a good way to go about it. Yeah. Cory?
I would be of the mind that you've got to, these days in the MMO arena, you have to have a spectacular product to convince your average player to subscribe for it. The Old Republic is actually a good example of this. There's a phrase that's been coined in MMO circles. It's called SWTORing. And for a game to SWTOR is similar to when somebody says that show jumped the shark. SWTORing is when a game has an incredible amount of players playing it, and then instantly the player base dries up for whatever reason. And that's what happened with SWTOR. It was a subscription-based game. The first month or two or so were incredibly popular, incredibly profitable, and then the player base just died right off. Until it became free to play, and now that's how the game is. I don't know if they're making a profit at this point, but they're still online and playing. Right. Same with Star Trek Online. It was Star Trek Online. I mean, MMO culture, if you want to use that term, is a funny thing because a few years ago, 5 years ago, if you asked the average MMO player, "What are you playing?" World of Warcraft. There was always the one big one, and then a bunch of little ones just kind of trying to fight for the scraps. And that's where Star Trek Online was playing second fiddle to bigger games like World of Warcraft, Lord of the Rings Online, that kind of thing.
And just to jump in just for a quick sec, it's always an uphill battle for almost any MMO that comes on the market because they are constantly being compared to World of Warcraft. And I think that's very, very unfair because Warcraft is almost 10 years old now. And in that 10 years, it has drastically changed its game, okay? And all these new features and sub-features and all this kind of stuff came, along the way to what it is today. And it's unfortunate that MMOs are put out there and they're immediately compared to a game that has taken 10 years to be what it is. And for them to expect the same kind of thing from that MMO day one, I think that's what kind of causes these kind of SWTORing things. Is that not exactly?
Right. Yeah, sure.
I think that's certainly a big part of it.
Yeah. I think it's a consumer problem. Is people are looking for, lack of a better term, that first MMO. Like for me, the first time I played WoW, it was this weird spiritual experience. Like and I know it sounds odd, but
No.
you did some role playing, right, in high school or whatever, so you can relate to putting yourself in a situation, a fantasy kind of situation, and role playing.
Role playing is high school. Come on.
Exactly.
We're all playing different roles.
And the first time I saw World of Warcraft, that I could put myself into a game, into a giant bull man who could turn himself into a lion or a bear to fight creatures and then heal himself up, and do this with thousands or millions of other people, and role play the fact that I'm this bull guy, and that's what got me hooked, was this role playing immersive element.
For whatever reason, if you go back, say 5 years ago, and you ask any MMO player, it's time to play video games, what are you playing? It would be World of Warcraft. I was there too. I don't role play the same way as Dean was just explaining.
Yeah.
But for a long time there, when it was time to sit down and play video games, for whatever reason, it was World of Warcraft. For whatever reason, it was one of those games that just took over my free time. I think Star Trek, I think it learned a lot of lessons from how, not from WoW, but from what WoW's done to MMO players. I think the things it does right, I think that it caters, it knows its fan base. It doesn't go for every gamer that's going to play an MMO. It goes for Star Trek fans. Right. And that for me, that's perfect, because that makes me want to play this along with other MMOs.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is the subscription-based stuff has to clearly offer something much different than the free-to-play stuff. In the case of Star Trek, you get that really cool Foundry creative mission.
Which, to be honest, I think just hearing that sold me. I think I'm
very,
going to check
very
it out.
Cool.
I don't know that other MMOs do it. This but the creator tools to make a mission and all this kind of stuff.
I've never heard of that.
I haven't. I've heard about it in games like Little Big
Workshop.
Planet, Trials Evolution.
Sure.
You know, these kind of games that are just one-off kind of games. Like Little Big Planet, there's over like 2 million, billion, something like that.
Yeah.
Created levels from the users. Never in an MMO though.
Yeah, it's really ingenious, because really, like, everything you'd need to create your own mission, it's already in the game. You don't have players' missions taking up real estate, because there's no quest giver. When it's time to accept the quest, you get a hail from somebody, and you accept it, and then you go off to some part of space where the sector of space you enter is an instant sector.
Yeah.
So it can be programmed to be whatever you want it to be. So
This really became the advertisement trailer for Star Trek Online. Go play it.
excellent game. Check it out. Cryptic.
Yeah, so viable business model, free to play. You're yay.
Absolutely. I think it's the way online gaming for this type of game is going, I think.
Yeah. Do you know?
I think it depends on your audience or your consumers. Because telling Cory yesterday, it wasn't that I didn't like Ghost Recon Online. It was I didn't play it that much in the last month, and that had everything to do with the fact that I had games that I had paid money for that I had yet to play. And so in my mind, I prioritized what I was going to play next by whether it was free to play. Like, free to play in my mind will always be the absolute last thing I play if there's anything else that I want to play that I paid for. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you can't afford games, you can't afford a good PC, super tight budget, free to play is a fucking godsend.
Oh, it really is.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
As a gamer, it's like adding it to the mix, but it's no more important of a business model to me than just buying.
Like, I don't specifically hate the subscription model. If I'm going to get my money's worth by subscribing to a game, if you're going to offer me an MMO that is dynamic and fun to play, for whatever reason, it's just a good game on its own, and the subscription enables me to enjoy features that you're adding to the game, I have no problem doing that as long as it's worth it. A game like World of Tanks, doesn't sound like I'd want to pay a subscription for.
You know, I wouldn't either. It's fun to play. It's fun to mess around with. You know, it's fun if I would like to play that game with friends.
Yeah,
that would definitely make the game a lot more fun. You're just having a good time with buddies. No one had to pay in to actually get in together, play the game. It would be excellent for that. You know, you'd all be at a similar level. No one's got like a superior tank to anybody, and you can just mess around.
Yeah.
And really, you didn't have to pay a dime, and you had a lot of fun with friends. That, you know, I wouldn't complain about that at all. Mm-hmm. Anywho, what are you doing? What are you laughing about?
I'm waiting for it. We're nothing but juvenile children here. I swear. So, my opinion on the free-to-play model. Somehow it baffles me a little bit. I get the whole thing, like especially when you've got IPs like a Star Trek or Star Wars, and DC Universe even. I could see how a lot of people would drop a lot of money making their character represent the fantasy that they've had in their head since childhood. You know, I get that. And I can see them making a lot of money that way. With games like World of Tanks, unless you're like a tank enthusiast or World War II enthusiast, I don't see how that would work out. Ghost Recon Online as well. And when you look at some of the budgets, okay, like Star Wars The Old Republic is estimated to have been developed for somewhere between $100 and $200 million. Now, to do some quick math on you, say 1 million people bought the game day one. Okay, so that's $60. That's $60 million you got right there. And then 1 million of those people bought a subscription for a month. That's another $15. So another 15 million. You add that up, $75 million day one. Okay? So 15 million for another 2 months, we'll say. So that's 30 million on top of that. So you got $105 million. You've made half of your bank in 3 months. Then it dies away. Then you got to come up with something else. So you go free to play. And you're crossing your fingers that enough people will play your game and buy at least $5 worth of stuff. I don't even know if that game has made its money back, tell you the truth, from that 200 million. I'm pretty sure it has.
I think that they had more than 1 million subscribers first couple months.
Yeah.
So based on that, I think they might have, because you did still have to pay for the game for a long time before it did go free to play.
It was like 8 or 9 months before they actually went free to play.
Yeah. But, I mean, like you were saying, the SWTORing thing, where it's like, hey, it's a big thing, and then it, like, dropped drastically. So, I'm pretty sure there were enough subscribers to make up for it. But, okay, so they make back their bank. But then, how do you make an insane amount of profit that dwarfs your initial investment? Which is what they want. You look at a Call of Duty game, okay? Those games typically cost about $10 million to make, I think, okay? Day one, you will sell $1 million. So right there, you've made $60 million. You've made 6 times what you put into it. And then it goes on to make the billions, okay? When you invest $200 million into a video game, you expect to have that same kind of, like, kaboom.
Do it right.
Yeah, exactly. So going to a free-to-play model, it confuses me, like, how that's more viable than having the subscription kind of angle. But, that said, you look at a game like DC Universe Online, the day they went free-to-play, that game became extremely profitable. And I don't know how. So...
I get it.
You do? Okay, explain.
Well, as a person who's... all 3 of the free-to-plays we're talking about, Star Trek, Star Wars, and DC, are all games that I bought before they went free-to-play.
Mm-hmm.
DC Universe,
Right there.
when it did go free-to-play, suddenly you felt like you only had to spend, like, because from I think what they're trying to do is convert people who already paid subscriptions. So, like me, like I used to talk about this with Cory all the time, is I don't buy video games because I pay $15 a month to play WoW. That's my video game budget for the month because it's continuous. It's always there. Mm-hmm. So when you go from suddenly not having to pay this continual, almost like credit card payment kind of thing, subscription fees, to just a one-time payment to unlock the Green Lantern pack,
which is
DC,
something I did, and it's badass.
In the,
it is.
In the DC universe thing, or in SWTOR.
Brightest day in Black Snake, bitches.
I spent, I think, $30 on points in SWTOR, and I bought the extra experience upgrades and this and that to make it more of a seamless free-to-play experience, a more fun free-to-play experience. Yeah. I guess I didn't really have the same experience with Star Trek. I didn't spend any microtransactions.
I've spent a chunk of money in Star Trek since I've been playing it free to play, because I had by level 20, which is I said sunk in about 15 hours into the game so far. I had a buttload of lock boxes to unlock, and I was like, well, I might as well start seeing what I can find. Yeah. The other thing is I'm a hardcore geek, and I love me some Star Trek. So if you're telling me that I can spend, $1 and unlock Deep Space Nine era uniforms for all my crew, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. You know, you're telling me that I can unlock a bridge for my ship so that the bridge looks like the Enterprise bridge. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. Unlock computer, so you can be like, computer, tea, Earl Grey, hot.
We're gonna fist fight tonight.
This goes down. Yeah, and like we said before, like with these type of properties, you can see how microtransactions would feed to our geekness.
I mean, you talked about that lightsaber in SWTOR costing more than practically the game would cost. I can see people paying for that.
Yes, exactly. But you have to understand that MMOs they're a new level of time sink when it comes to gaming. Like I said, I'm not exaggerating if I went to my main character that I ever played in WoW, let's say Amazar, you type in time played, and it tells you how many minutes, seconds, days, months you've been playing that character.
And we're not
consistently.
We're talking about time logged in.
Yeah.
Like not just playing, I've been playing this character for a couple of hours every day since December. Like, it tells you the amount of time you've spent sitting at the computer actively playing. And it's
always months.
Yeah, it's probably months for me now too.
For most of your characters, like 3 months, X number of days, like, so that means that I spent a freaking quarter of a year, like, if you want to put it that way, staring at my computer straight, not sleeping, not eating. That's how much time was spent playing these games. So when you take that and you add the microtransaction in and you take it with a subscription, suddenly it's like, well, I spent all my fucking time here anyways. Take some of my money. This is going to be way more fucking fun now.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it.
In defense, not that it needs to be defended, you hear something like 10,000 hours sitting in front of a computer screen playing a video game. People will go like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, maybe. But I know a bunch of people who do that for work. And yeah, they're getting paid, but are they enjoying it? No. So
you gotta, I mean,
people do the same thing with TV.
These are our hobbies. We are allowed to put time and energy into the things we love to do, and if we love video games, then by Jove, I say let's spend time sitting in front of our computers.
If we want to spend time trapping children in our basements and torturing them on a game, by all means, we're gonna do it.
He's gonna do it.
Sick.
He totally think he's talking about you, Josh.
No, I definitely know he's talking about him. He's the Sims creeper.
We're gonna make him a T-shirt.
With this little child in a basement.
That could be an expansion pack. Sims Creeps.
Oh my god. Let's get into the dark side.
To be fair, you guys, I'm pretty sure she would have grown up to be an evil human, so
we don't have it.
So it's okay.
She's raised by you.
The voices in my head told me she needed to be stopped. So hopefully that explains it all.
So before this goes total chaos here, we're gonna bring the show to a close. But before we do, we got to pick our next game of the month. And in order to do that, we actually need to stop the recording and actually write down our games.
We're gonna arm wrestle.
So we're going to be back. All right, thanks for being patient, guys. We are back. We figured out the Game of the Month situation. And we're going to switch it up. Instead of picking out of the bucket this time around, we're going to start a new trend, which is we're going to each take a month and pick one game that we're all going to choose. So this month, the guys were gracious enough, since it's my fucking show, that I get to be the first one to pick the game. So, the game of the month is Bioshock.
What?
Yes! Yes!
Bioshock?
Yes!
We are playing
Awesome!
Bioshock. And this is a game that started this whole desire in me to talk at length about video games. It is story-driven. There is so much going on in this game.
Would you
to
kindly?
discuss. Would you kindly?
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly? And anyone who doesn't know that, you're gonna love this.
You're gonna love Little Sisters.
Yes, and the gameplay is on par with nobody. It set the standard for a lot of games to come out there. Beautiful, fun, scary as fuck, and a hell of a great story, and so much to talk about.
I could get into a Return to Rapture. I could get
Yep.
on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even if you don't go back to Rapture and play the game over again, there's still so much to talk about. And Josh is looking at me like, okay, what the hell is this now?
lots of
I
killing.
played
You'll
the
be-
demo.
you'll be fine.
I played
Lots
the
of
demo.
killing.
Oh, buddy, we're gonna get you.
Mutations, I know that exists, and there is one scary motherfucker who is like a real long.
Oh, yeah.
The Big Daddy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy's and Little Sisters.
All my game lovers out there, you know this. This is the stuff of legend. Bioshock is going to be our game of the month next time on Deep Seeded Geeks Game of the Month. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching the show. If you like this video, indicate down below. If you want to favorite it, that's awesome too. I dig that. You can share it with your friends and family on Facebook, Twitter, and the like. You can subscribe right up top there. And you'll be updated every Monday and Friday when I put out new videos. And with that, on behalf of Cory, Josh, the punching bags themselves, and Dino, Omnimus69, and myself, Jason, we will see you next time on Deep Seeded Geek.
Bye.
Take care.